Good morning, everybody. I am getting ready to leave the house. It is a gorgeous autumn morning. I have a very chill day planned. I want to make some stuff. I have a few projects that I'm working on. You might see them in the background. I'm getting ready to go out. I'm going to go to our berry picking place. They announced that this is the last day of the season, so I will go and have a look what they still have there. And then I also have to return some books to the library. Afterwards, I will get a bit of sewing in and a little bit of knitting maybe. We'll see. I thought I could take you along. All right, let's go outside first. I decided to go on foot because it's a beautiful walk to go there. Alright, I got home, I made myself coffee, decaf as always, and I made myself some breakfast. Homemade jam on homemade bread. Does it get any better? And this is my harvest from the berries. I'm not sure yet what I will make from them. Maybe some dessert or maybe some jam. Anyway, now I'm going to sit in my garden, have some breakfast and enjoy the sunshine. I'm currently knitting the Rikke scarf, or Rikke scarf, not sure about the pronunciation. And it's one of those little scarves that you've probably been seeing everywhere. One of the knitting patterns that keeps popping up for me is the Petite Knit Sophie scarf. And it's really nice to be knitting something while doing something else, like having breakfast or watching a movie. You know, it's really enjoyable, and it's something that I kind of miss sometimes when sewing. I kind of underestimated it. I thought it was going to be like a mindless project, but you actually have to kind of stay present to make sure you're not making any mistakes, that the increases and decreases are correct. I have a paper here where I indicate where I am, because otherwise I don't know which row I need to increase, or like there's a little lace pattern in the work. But yeah, that means I really have to pay attention when I knit. And it's not been mindless as I thought it would be. But that's okay. I'll finish this up and then I will see you when I'm done. Alright. We're back inside. I think I stayed outside a little bit too long and I'm quite cold right now. So yeah, we're back inside, and with all of that, we haven't really talked about the sewing projects yet. So how about we do that now? I wanted to share with you some projects that I'm currently working on. I have two current projects that aren't finished yet. One of them is basically finished, I just need to hem it, and the second one is in full swing. Let me take my book so I can give you all the details. This is the Mercer bias skirt by the Pattern Line. The fabric is a beautiful satin viscose from La Maison Naïve. And I bought this fabric without really having a plan. If you watched my previous video or one of my previous videos, I used the same fabric but in a different colorway for making swishy fancy pants. So I made that from the same fabric, and I had this coupon, I think it was 2 meters. I thought maybe making a dress out of it. My friend was getting married. I thought maybe that would be nice. But as I was talking to other people about it, and when I was thinking about it myself, I realized I wasn't going to wear it very often, Whereas a bias skirt, something that I've been thinking about for a long time already, I will probably wear more easily because you can dress it up and down much more easily than a dress. As I said, is the Mercer bias skirt by the Pattern line. I made the size 12 according to the size chart, and I took in about 4 centimeters at the waist. But other than that, I didn't really have to make any size adjustments. I did lengthen it by 10 centimeters. And as I said, I haven't hemmed it yet. It's because I finished sewing it and then you have to like let it hang for about 24 hours. And because of that, I didn't finish it. That's classic. I knew from the moment that I had to let it hang for a while that I wouldn't finish it right away. So my plan is to do that today because there's really no excuse. I already trimmed the hem. Because you cut it on the bias, the fabric will move much more. That's the whole point, because you want it to be like moving and slinky so that it follows the forms and the figures of your body. But because of that, the hem will wobble a little bit. Some parts will get lower, other parts will not. And so by letting it hang for example, 24 hours, you give the fabric a chance to relax fully in its shape, and then you can cut off your hem so it's nice and straight and then finish it. I don't know if that made any sense. But because of that whole process, I haven't finished it. I want to do that today because I want to wear this. Something to note, this has an elastic... trying to show you. This has an elastic waistband, but it's not an elastic waistband that creates all these gathers at your waist. So I really enjoyed the construction of this pattern. I feel like it's very well thought out, and it's also just more comfortable, which is all I ever want. So I want to finish this today. That's number 1. And then you might see behind me, I have a little vest that I'm currently making. This is the Molly vest by Fiber Mood. I have hacked it by taking off the seams and then reshaping the armholes a little bit. So I deepened the armhole. I took some of the width away at the shoulders. And I think that's mainly it. Oh yeah, and then I added a little bit more curve just because there was a lot of fabric there and it was bulking up a bit. What I still have to do is attach the binding. I've decided to make the bias binding out of the lining side of the fabric, just so it kind of creates a cohesive look. So what I need to do is add the binding and then decide if I want to add pockets. And on the inside, I want to bind the seams. I want to do that by hand because it will look a little bit more neat. We'll see if I actually still want to do it by hand at the end of this. But what I would like to do today is add the binding all around so that at least that step is done. So yeah, this is the second project that I would like to finish. I will start with the skirt because that will take much less time, hopefully. I'll still think about how I will finish it, maybe with a rolled hem or with a narrow... I don't know yet. I have to think about it a little bit. But these are the 2 projects that I'm currently working on. Okay, so this might either be very stupid or genius, but I'm going to try and do this hem on my skirt with a narrow hemmed, what is it called? A rolled hem foot. A narrow rolled hem foot. That's the one. I've already put it in, I've already changed my threads. It's not super easy to get right, but if you do get it right, it looks really, really nice. So I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work, we'll deal with it then and hope for the best. The main problem people have is getting it started, and that's also the problem that I'm having currently. But I'm going to be patient and I'm going to try. I've found 2 different ways of trying it, and so I'm going to try both of them, see if that works. I'm going very, very, very slowly in the hopes that this will help it to be nice and even. So far, I'm not even going to say it, I don't want to jinx it. The real stressful thing will be when we get to seams. I'm going to try and have it also pull through that loop. We'll see if that works. I'm lifting up the foot to help it see through it. Okay, it's kind of blocking. So as you see me struggle, I'm kind of realizing that I won't be able to use the special foot on the side seams. There's just too much bulk there. So instead, I'm just folding the side seams manually, so to say, and then clipping it in place to then afterwards sew down that section at the side seam separately, if that makes any sense. I switched back to my normal sewing foot. I'm going to sew up until here. Pray for me, please. This is not looking too bad. Definitely not perfect, but I was also not reaching for perfection. I'm going to leave it for now. Let's give it a good press. It's all done. I think it looks great. I think the only thing left to do is add a label, and then this one is done. And here it is, a nice swishy hem without looking too heavy. I'm also happy I lengthened it a little bit. You can see I'm rolling it up 2 or 3 times to make it a bit shorter and it doesn't add too much bulk. So yeah, super happy. Alright, so I've had a snack and a little sit in the garden. And I was watching this super interesting video series from Erin from My Green Closet on YouTube. She's doing this super interesting project where she wants to make a garment entirely locally. So all the materials, all the designs. I just watched one of the videos is all about the fiber and it was about wool, and that was very interesting. So if you're looking for something interesting and entertaining to watch, something not too shouty, very well researched and beautifully filmed, then I would highly suggest you check out My Green Closet on YouTube. And I kind of forgot what the title is, but it's something like Farm to Clothing or something like that. I haven't watched all of it, but I think it will be a very, very interesting series. Anyway, now that we've got this guy all done, I'm so happy with how it turned out. It's time to move on to that guy. I don't think I want to finish it all today. Well, yes, I would like to have finished it, but I'm not putting it as my goal. I'm going to change the threads on my machine. It's kind of a spontaneous make. I was ordering other fabric and then I saw that one and I decided to order a meter of it because I had been seeing it for a long time already and loving it and wanting it. And then I decided, why not get 1 meter, see if I like working with this kind of fabric. That's why I went with more like subdued colors. They have this beautiful fabric also in like pinks and reds and bright greens and blues and beautiful, beautiful fabrics. But I know that I will find it much harder to pair with things in my wardrobe. If I end up wearing this super much all the time, loving it, etc., etc., I might consider getting some of the brighter fabrics and make myself something for springtime, but that's way down the line. Anyway, let's see how the bias binding is looking and let's try to sew this on relatively quickly. We'll see. So I've made bias binding and now I clip it on the inside of my fabric. I'm using clips because I find it much easier when sewing. After this is all sewn on, I will fold over the binding, enclosing the raw edge into itself, and come and sew a second time. This time I sew it on the outside of the fabric. Oh my god! It is finished. And with finished, I mean the binding is all on. And I actually didn't think I would also be able to put on the sleeve binding, but it was going much smoother than anticipated. That never happens. From afar, it gives a little bit like medieval knight vibes for some reason. I really am happy that I chose the lining fabric as the binding. I am also glad I made the changes to the armholes. It is not finished, even though it looks finished. I will have to finish the binding on the inside, figure out a closure, kind of thinking maybe ties or little buttons with a loop. I'm not sure yet. And I keep doing this, so I need to add pockets, otherwise it will bother me the whole time or every time that I wear it. So I have to think about what kind of pockets that I want to add. That's not for today because I did a lot of sewing already and I'm reaching the end, and maybe you can't tell, but it's actually getting a bit dark already. This is dangerous territory because it might be that I then will never finish it. I'll try to be strong, or maybe I have to wear it enough so that it annoys me so much that I have to make the pockets. Anyway, I'm tired, I'm rambling. For now, I will stop, I will clean up all of my mess, and I will find you once I've done that. Did I clean everything up before making dinner? No, because I got distracted. That is how that goes. I always find new projects, new things to do. As I'm losing light and it's getting quite late and I'm running out of steam, I think I should kind of wrap this up now. I wanted to get into my sewing plans and things that I have lined up for the next few weeks. And actually I'm so excited about one of them. Maybe I should just talk to you about this another time. But basically, I want to make a nice winter wool coat out of this fabric that I've had for years now. And I think I found a perfect pattern, and I'm still thinking about it and hoping that I have enough fabric. Anyway, so I'm super excited about it. It would be cool to document the making of a coat because it's quite an involved make, probably the most involved thing that I would have ever done. At the same time, making a coat is already quite involved, and if I then also add filming to it, I might never finish it. So I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, I'm rambling. I hope that you enjoyed coming along on this nice autumnal day. It was such a perfect day, going outside, doing some knitting, getting berries, going for a walk, and then crafting the whole afternoon basically. I hope that you enjoyed following along. Maybe it gave you some inspiration or motivation, or it just gave you a little bit of a break from everything that is going on in the world. I think it's important to find little pockets of calm and rest so that once our soul and mind is fueled back up, we can go back and, stand up for what's important. In any case, I hope you are well. I hope that you get some making and crafting in. If you're curious about other things that I made or I'm making, you can check out my Threadloop account. It's linked down below. I really enjoy keeping all of my projects up to date on there. So you can always find me on there and feel free to share your profile as well. And other than that, I think I am all rambled out. Thank you a lot for watching all the way until the end. You can always subscribe if you want more of these videos. I don't make many of them, but who knows. And I will see you hopefully sometime soon. Happy making. Bye.